here to get the new one. Okay. So, and I'm sorry, these take a lot of space on the page too. So how about x to the third plus 2, nope, I lied, plus 4x squared minus 3x minus 12. Okay, so it's going to be factors of 12 divided by factors of 1. Okay. So what that's going to get us as far as numbers we need to test, I'll just list them off for you here. So plus or minus 12, plus or minus 6, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 1. Oh, and a 4, right. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 12 of them to test this time around. Okay, let's break this up again. I'm not going to write down all the synthetics this time because you guys can do that, but we'll break it up again. So 12, negative 12, Angel. 6, negative 6. 3, negative 3. 2, negative 2. 1, negative 1. 4, negative 4. Pick your favorite. All right. Give it a try. We'll see which ones work. Yeah, if you figure out it's not working, you can just stop. You know, just like before. I mean, you can kind of tell after a while. But okay, so are we all through our synthetic division here? Yeah. Okay. Anybody find one that actually worked? Yes. Positive 4 or negative 4? Negative 4. Anybody else? Good work, because that was the only one that was supposed to work. So nice. All right. So let's just look at that synthetic division with negative 4 here. Okay. So negative 4, then we got 1, 4, negative 3, negative 12. Okay, so we work this one out. 1, negative 4, that's 0. Negative 4 times 0 is 0. Negative 3, positive 12, yes. Okay, so if you don't have this one written down, write this one down because we need the answer to this to help us into the next step here. So once I've done this division, think about when we did synthetic division yesterday. We were able to take this answer and rewrite it as a polynomial, right? So what polynomial is that for this one? If I have 1, 0, negative 3. Yeah. Okay. So what I have now, once I've taken out that negative 4, I have x squared minus 3. So what that means is that this original polynomial should factor to that. Does that make sense? So this is equal to this. Okay? Because the negative 4 worked, that means that x plus 4 is a factor. That's the part of the factor theorem we talked about yesterday. Okay? So, and then whatever's left over should be what you multiply with that factor to get the original. Okay? So let's take a look at this thing. Because remember, ultimately what we're trying to find are zeros, right? So if this is equal to 0, I know one of the zeros because I found it with a synthetic division and it matches the factor. I know from this one, x equals negative 4 is one of my zeros. It's the only rational zero, too. We determined that. But we've got this x squared minus 3 left over as well, right? And we can still get some more zeros out of that one. So if I work through that, x squared minus 3 equals 0. That's something we can solve for this, right? So I got to add 3 to the other side, and then do what? And then square root both sides. So x equals plus or minus root 3. How many roots do we have altogether here? 3. And that should make a bit of sense, right? Because it's a cubic, right? So it should have, at most, 3 roots. And yes, it has 3. How many of those 3 roots are rational? Just the one, right? We found 1 rational root and 2 irrational roots. And remember, irrational numbers are numbers that you can't express as fractions, like square roots. Square roots are like the classic irrational numbers. Okay? So 1 rational, 2 irrational, 3 roots altogether, but we found them all. Okay? For this particular problem, I was able to go get those other ones because I had something I could solve that was left over. This one that we did over here, the first one we worked on, that was this big 4th degree thing, and the only thing we found was a 1 that worked. Okay? Take a look at the end of that synthetic division. I have 1, -8, -5, 6. Is that something I could continue to factor and work with? No, because that would be a cubic, right? It'd be x to the 3rd minus 8x squared minus 5x plus 6. That's not something I'm able to factor. So I'm stuck. So the only thing on this one I can say is, well, I know there's a rational root of 1, but that's it. There might be some other irrational ones, but I'm not able to find them. Okay? So it all depends on what are you left with when you take the rational ones out, and then can you continue to move on to find some more? Yeah?
If you did have x to the 3rd minus 8x squared minus 9x plus 6, could you do another synthetic division?
You couldn't. Because you're saying, like, could you do another rational root test and keep going with it? You can't, because whatever is a factor of the thing you start with should also be factors of this. Okay? And you've already tested all the rest of them. So you know none of the rest of those are going to work, so you're still stuck. Yeah, you could try this the rational root test again, but it's going to come out the same. Yeah. So, all right. So this is going to be kind of your task for a lot of this assignment today, is going to be using the rational root test to find the rational roots, and then looking to see, with what I have left over, can I go any further and get some more? Okay? So sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.